Hello, my name's Stuart Cakebread. I'm the Greater London Historic Environment Record Manager. I'm sorry that I can't be with you at the conference today in person, but thank you for giving me the opportunity to show you our new HER system. Now, this is a project we've been working on for a number of years now with our colleagues at the Getty Conservation Institute in Los Angeles and the City of Lincoln to create a new HER system using the Arches platform. Now, Arches platform has been around for just over 10 years now. It was developed on behalf of the Getty Conservation Institute and the World Monument Fund as a heritage recording system that was web-based, complied with international data standards, was open source, so there's no license fees, so it's low cost, and was intuitive to use. Now, Arches is used by a range of different organisations, or in the process of being implemented by a range of different organisations around the world. These range from national heritage bodies and departments, city councils, and academically led projects. Closer to home, it's used by the Isle of Man and Jersey as their historic environment records. Historic England itself uses Arches for its National Heritage List. Warden's the land-based side of things. Mariner is the maritime version, which is in the process of being developed and will go live later on this year, and I believe will be publicly accessible. Now, we've done an awful lot of work taking the core Arches platform to develop a system that is compliant with the needs of historic environment records. We've also added the ability that our archaeological advisors can add their planning consultations and track cases. And we've also done a lot of work ensuring that the system is as accessible as possible in line with web-based guidance, but also national guidance and regulations on accessibility. Now, all this work has gone into this new system, which we've given it the imaginative title of Arches for HERs. Now, not only will London and City Lincoln be using this system, but I'm also very pleased to say that our colleagues in East Sussex are in the process of migrating from their old HER to Arches. They previously used a system called HBSMR, which some of you may be aware of. Now, we plan to go live in the summer of 2024. We've spent the last 18 months testing the system internally. We've had a number of stakeholders who've helped evaluate our system, from boroughs, consultants, and also from other HERs. So the launch in the summer will be of Arches for HERs, which will then be available for any HERs who wish to download it and start using it. But also it will be the launch of the live London system, which will be publicly accessible as well. So let's have a look at the new system. Now, this is the main landing page of the London. They may have a few changes before it actually goes live. We've got information about the Historic Environment Record and GLASS, the Greater London Archaeological Advisory Service. There'll be videos here on how to use the new online system, but also downloadable guide, information about volunteering, and there'll be a rolling series of thematic searches which people can run, which will be changed periodically. Now let's actually go into the system and have a look at how we can do some searches and use it. So here we have the main search window for Arches. Down the side here we have information about terms and conditions, privacy and accessibility. On the left hand side here we have information about all the records in the HER here. You can see the total number here. On the right hand side here we have the mapping. Now we can zoom in and out with our mouse. We can also press the plus and minus buttons to zoom in and out. We can also make the map full screen if we so wish. Now, to use the map, we have a number of layers. We have a number of base maps, as you can see here, which can be changed, and along with some satellite imagery as well. Now, as you can see, the overlays here. Now, these overlays are based on the information within the HER here. We have a number that are automatically loaded, such as our archaeological priority areas, and you can very easily see what layers you have on by clicking the legend here. Now let's go to the overlays. It's very simple to add new layers. We just click on them, and there you can see them coming up now. Now it can get a bit busy, so we can also move the layers order to make things more easily understandable, but also we have the ability to change the transparency as well. Now let's do some searches on the map. There's two ways we can do searches, as I say, on the map, but also on the actual data. But let's first of all, let's look at the map. Now we can type in a postcode, or we can type in an address, a name. So let's go to Museum of London Docklands, and here we are. You can see our records here. Now we can click on the records to find out information. As you can see, the museum is covered by one of our archaeological priority areas, and another record here too. We have one for the actual building itself. You can see you've got the monument title there, and we can click on the report and that will bring up the record. But I don't want to do that just yet. I'll come on to that in a moment. Now, we can also search using a filter on the map. So I click on the filter. We can draw a point, line, polygon for an area and add a buffer around it. And you'll see straight away that the number of records has changed because that's relating to the records that we have within our search area, but also within the buffer distance as well. And you can see there's some little black teardrops that appeared here. If I move the mouse slowly up and down, you might be able to notice that we've got records changing here, up here. That's to indicate which records you're actually scrolling over. Now we can also just click on the map to go to a record as well. So that's a nice way of quickly filtering by an area. And just turn that off on. Now another way we can search on the map is by grid reference. So if I just type in a grid reference here, right, so I just type in a grid reference here. See, it's taken us to a location here. Now, we can just check to show where that is. If I just move this out, clear that, and put in road name. And there you can see it's the same location. We've got the Brighton Road here and Chipstead Valley Road going along here. Now, I can also add a buffer to this. Let's put a nice big buffer here. And you can see it's selecting a buffer area with a number of records here. So that's how we can search by the map. But you can see by using the B&G filter, it's added the filter up here. And this is where we can start building some quite complicated searches here by adding different blocks of information. So we've got our records that we're looking at here. Now, I might, for example, say, well, I know that those records cover other boroughs other than Croydon, but I'm interested in the borough of Croydon. So if I type in Croydon, Archers will go along away and find every instance where Croydon or a similar word to Croydon or set of letters shows up in the record. But I also know that Croydon is a borough, and that's a concept that's stored in our record of terms and words lists. So I click on concept. So there we go, London Borough of Croydon. And you can see the record number has reduced as well. Now, I'm pulling up anything that's got a record that's got information within this area, but also got information about the London Borough of Croydon. So I just want to focus on our monument records. I don't want our activities or aircraft records. I want to click on monument. So again, you can see the number of results here has reduced once again. Now, the other nice thing that we can do is we can do inverse searches. So I might want to have everything that's not in Croydon. So there we go. Or all the records that aren't monuments. And you can see the number changes. So it's a nice way that we can flip things around. Now, another way we can search is on dates. Now, this is a time filter. We've got millennium, centuries, and decades around here. The larger the slice, the more records we have. I know that the site that I'm interested in, which is a hospital, is in the 19th century. So let's just click on that. And you can see that's reduced once again down to an easy number. Now, as I said, what I'm interested in is I know it's a record to do with a hospital. Now, I know this site has been associated with a person of historic interest, Sir Charlie Chaplin. Now, I could type it in here again and build up a further search. I could type in hospital. And again, Archers will go away and search that, where it's used as a term, but also I know it's a concept for a hospital, but I'm not going to do that there. What I'm going to do is use the advanced search. Now, the advanced search is basically where you can search on any branch of information on any of the associated records. I'm going to look at the monument here and associated people and organisations. I know it's a person. I'm going to just type in here it's Charles Chaplin. And you can see it's pulled down to one record straight away. Now I can look at that, go to the map and see whether it's the right one. Yes, that's the record that I want. Where's that? Let's just remove the activities because I can't see. Yes, there's the hospital site there. Now, as you can see, I've built up a really quite complicated search based on a number of blocks, which is a really nice way of doing things. Now, as you can see, the record here, we have information about its name. All the records have a brief summary of what they are. You can click on the details, which is a short summary of the information that's in the record, about the name, associated references, and description. But let's actually dive in and let's have a look at this record in full. Now, the way the information is, it's divided into blocks or chunks of information to make it easier for people to actually read and understand what's there. Now here we go. Here's our record. So we've got the name and identifiers, cross-references here, descriptions and citations there, classifications about what the type of monument record is. It's a psychiatric hospital. Location data. Again, we've got another little map here, which we can use the overlays and legends to change. We've got information about the address here. If the site was covered by any present protection or designation, that information would be here. Scientific dating would be here. Any images, we've got a nice couple of images here. One aerial one of the site from the 1970s, but also we've got the administration block of Caney Hospital, which featured on the US album cover for Bowie's Man Who Sold the World album. And also got the associated people organisations. So we've got the architects, we've got David Bowie, and here he is, Charles Chaplin, and myself, because I've added information. We can also look at associated resources in a nice fashion, and I'll just show you that now. So let's go back to our search record, click on related resources, and here we go. Here's a kind of spider web that we call Boris, because it's a bit of a spider web. These are all the associated record types that we hold in the HER that are associated with this site. So if you just click on the legend, we've got a nice little color-coded chart here so you can see what those record types are. Now, having a look at things here, we can click on a record to see what it is. Here's a heritage report to do with that, so we can see what it is, how it's linked to the hospital. We can also click on it to go directly to that report if we want. Now, another way we can do, if things are getting a bit busy, we can hide some of these to make it clearer. And we can also then click on this record to see what other resource records are associated with this one. So with David Bowie, we have 4 monument records. We've got Denmark Street, we've got the Trident Studios, but we've also got the Bowie Bandstand. So if we click on that, again, more records associated with the bandstand pop out. So it's a nice visual way of searching or surfing the HER. One last thing I'll quickly show you about the map. If I go back to the map filter, now if I turn off some of these filters here, and I go back and type in hospital. Now again, as I said, this is a concept, so it's a word term from our monument thesaurus type. If I click on that, you can see hospital there. If I click on that, that brings up all the monument records that we've got in London. And if I zoom all the way out a bit, and also turn off some of these overlays, let's turn off the monument one. I can turn on another layer here, hexes. And I don't know whether you can see that. Let's change the base map. Let's change that to that. You can see that there's some very slight hexes here. If I move out a bit. So it's a way of showing density of sites. You could use this for any search, like all the Roman records, all the medieval sites. Another way we can look at it is via a heat map as well. So you can see the high densities in London, but there's other hospitals around here. So again, it's a nice way of interrogating the record. Now, as I said, we're launching in the summer. And this is fortuitous for a number of reasons. The main reason being, I don't know whether many of you know, the government passed an act last year, the Levelling Up and Regeneration Act, and in pride of place at the miscellaneous is a section for historical environment records. Historic environment records are now statutory. This is something that we've been working on for many, many years, so it's really good news. This means that relevant bodies must maintain an HER that's up to date and available to the public. So this is something we've been working on for a number of years, so that's really good news. This does mean, though, that we have to now engage with all the boroughs and the City of London, but also all of you, because you're stakeholders as well. So this is quite a few people that we need to deal with. But having arches makes that work a lot easier for us and a lot easier for other people to understand the record and engage with it. Previously, with our old record, we only had it internally for about 16 people because of licenses. Now with arches, I can, within a couple of minutes, create records for everybody. So everybody within Historic England can have access to the record. It also means that from the summer, we will be going live, which means everybody outside of Historic England also will be able to see the record. Additionally, because of the ability that I have with arches, I can also give rights to certain users outside of the organisation so that they can also add information to the HER as well. So that's a real big boon for us and hopefully for other users. Now, for the general public, researchers, community groups, this means that we'll be able to engage with you more, hopefully get more information from you to enhance our record of the historic environment. Currently, we have 5 volunteers in the HER. The work they do equates to one full-time work of one full-time HER officer. So that we've got a very small team of 4, 2 are actually working day to day on the HER. So this means that they can work on the planning side of things, but our volunteers can help us with enhancing additional information to the HER. And this means that hopefully we can get information that you have now, but also some of the information that you might have worked on in the past when it was added to the HER, but because of technological limitations, was only brief summaries. It also means that whilst we can focus on the kind of traditional bread and butter side of things, we can hopefully get engaged with volunteers and communities to add other information that's information of historic importance to them, but isn't stuff that is traditional uh, HER information. And that way, hopefully, we can draw in different groups who may not necessarily have a lot of interest in traditional heritage, but are interested in the heritage of their own areas. And hopefully, we can develop that understanding and appreciation and develop a sense of wanting to protect that as well. Now, for consultants and contractors, unfortunately, although the record is live and accessible, you won't be able to download it. You'll still need to come to us for information because there's additional information that we will add. However, it does mean that you'll be able to start and look at the record straight away. You'll be able to use the BNG filter to hone your searches so that you know exactly the right area and what sort of information you're going to get from us. We'll be able to send you that information more quickly. We'll be able to add more information because we can do things more quickly. And we can directly email those information out to you. So for example, you'll be able to start working straight away on your desk-based assessments. It also means that when we send shapefiles, there'll be tags on there which will link directly to HER records. Now, for the boroughs and conservation officers, hopefully we can engage with them to show them that we can help them with their requirements for protecting heritage. One of those things particularly is local lists. Local lists are on the LURA Act that we should be recording. Currently, if you go online, the information on local lists ranges from helpful to perhaps not quite so helpful. By adding it to the HER, it's all going to be of the same standard and format. It's going to make it a lot easier for people to search and understand the information. It also means that because we can give access to people to add information, it means that we can help when they come to do reviews of the local lists. When we were working with Hackney with their local list, the information was added by volunteers, added it to a spreadsheet database, which when we had to import, we would be able to allow those volunteers to actually directly add that information and update information into the HER. And obviously it doesn't mean to say that these will become automatically local lists, but it means that they can go onto the HER as something that can be used and appreciated and understood, and then if they meet the criteria, added as a local list. Now, I'm not going to go into any more detail. I've run out of time, I'm afraid. I think I've probably overrun very slightly, so I apologise in advance. That's just a brief taste of the record. If you're interested in finding out more, my colleague Sandy Kidd, I believe, is in the audience, who will have to help you with some general questions. If not, please contact me and I'll do my best to help. If you'd like me to give another demonstration, very happy to do that. And if you're interested in volunteering or having a go using the system, again, please let me know and I'll do my best to help you. So thanks very much and enjoy the rest of your day.